Welcome to part 7 of my Planet Defense game series. In this tutorial, we're building a complete game step by step using Phaser 4. You'll find the full playlist linked in the description. Right now, the player can shoot down enemies, but what happens if one slips through? In this video, we'll add logic to damage the Earth when an enemy reaches it, and eventually trigger a game over. We'll start by detecting when an enemy sprite overlaps with our Earth. Just like with the bullet collision, we'll use Phaser's overlap detection, this time between our enemies and our Earth sprite. For these changes, we need to enable our planet for physics. Currently, our planet game object is just a sprite, and so we need to update our code to do this.physics to reference our physics system, and then we'll do add.sprite. This will create a new arcade sprite game object that will have our physics body that we need. Now, if we save and come back to our game, we'll see our new physics body has been added to our planet. So currently our physics body is quite a bit larger than our planet, and we would prefer for this to be a circle shape instead of a square. Our Phaser arcade physics system supports using a circular body. To make that change, we'll come back to our code. First, we need to reference our physics body on our planet, so we'll do this.planet, and then we'll reference our body, and now we want to use the setCircle method. Our setCircle method allows us to specify how big we want our circle physics body to be. For this, we'll do 30 pixels, and now we can provide an offset of where we want to position that in our game. We'll want to do 18 pixels for both our X and Y. Now if we save, we come back to our game, we'll see our planet now has a circular arcade physics body. Now that our planet has a physics body, we can add our overlap check between our planet and our enemy group. We'll come down to the bottom of our create method. Let's copy our line of code where we add in our overlap. We'll paste that. Now for our check, instead of doing our bullet group, we'll want to do our planet, our enemy group, and we'll make a new method for this collision. We'll call this handle planet and enemy collision. Let's copy that method name. We'll come down to the bottom of our class. So now when this method is called by Phaser, our first argument will be our planet game object. Our second argument will be our enemy game object. Now when one of our asteroids collides with our planet, we'll want to disable our physics body and make it not active and not visible. Let's copy our 2 lines of code from our handle bullet and enemy collision method, paste that, and so after we disable our physics body, we'll want our asteroid to explode. Let's copy our line of code where we spawn our game object. And so now if we save, let's come back to our game. Once one of our asteroids reaches our planet, we should now see our asteroid explode. So instead of having our game end immediately, once one of our asteroids touches our planet, we're going to give our planet some health. That way, each time one of our enemies touches our planet, we'll reduce our health, and once we reach 0, then we'll end our game. For this change, we'll want to add a new property to keep track of our health. So if we come to the top of our class, we'll call this property planet health. Now we want to initialize our value. So after we create our planet game object, let's do this. We'll do our planet health. We're going to set it equal to 3. So now let's come down to our handle planet and enemy collision method. Once one of our enemies collides with our planet, we're going to call a new method for updating our planet health. So we'll call this damage planet. Let's add that new method to our class. So we'll do damage planet. So first, we'll add a safeguard to make sure our health is above 0. So if we do if, so we'll do if this, if our planet health is less than or equal to 0, then we just want to return early. Otherwise, we want to decrement our planet health. So we'll do this, our planet health, do minus equals 1. Now let's log out a message with how much health we have left. So we'll do a console log, we'll do planet hit, we'll do HP left, and let's log out our planet health. And then finally, once we reach 0, we'd want to end our game. So we'll do if our planet health, if it's less than or equal to 0, then we'll just do a console log, and we'll say game is over. So now if we save and come back to our game, after some of our asteroids have spawned and they collide with our planet, we should see our log message for where our health is decreasing. So once our planet's health reaches 0, we log our message for our game being over. And so once our game is over, we'd actually want to lock our input and prevent our player from being able to increase their score. To make that change, we'll add a new property to our class. So if we come to the top of our class, we'll call this lock input. We'll come down to the bottom of our create method. After we create our cursive keys, we'll set our new property equal to false. So now down in our damage planet method, once our game is over, we want to lock our input. So we'll do this, lock input will be equal to true. So now that we've locked our input, we just need to update our update method. So we come up to our update method. Before we check for our input, we'll do if this. If our lock input is true, then we just want to return early from our method. Now if we save and come back to our game, once enough of our enemies hit our planet, our input should now become locked and our player shouldn't be able to move or fire bullets. So now when one of our asteroids collides with our planet, we will also want our player to feel this impact. To add some juice to our game, we're going to add a quick screen shake and then scale our planet up and down when the asteroid hits our planet. It's a small detail, but it makes the hit feel way more dramatic. Phaser has a built-in camera shake effect we can use here, and then we can rely on our phaser tweens to scale up our planet and then scale it back down. For these changes, in our damage planet method, after we update our planet's health, first, let's add in our shake effect for our camera. We do this to reference our scene. We do cameras to reference our camera's manager. Now we want to do our main camera, and now we're going to do shake. So now for our shake effect, we can specify how long we want this to last and the intensity. We'll have this be 150 milliseconds, so that way it's really quick. And now we're going to do 0.02 for our intensity. Now if we save and come back to our game, once one of our asteroids collides with our planet, we should see our new effect. So now to scale up our planet and then scale it back down, we're going to use a phaser tween. To use our tween, we'll do this, we'll do tweens, and then we'll do add to create a brand new tween. So now for our tween configuration, first we need to provide our target game object we want this tween to be applied to. So we're going to do our planet. Now we need to choose our properties we want to modify. We'll do our scale X property. For this, we're going to do 1.1. Then we'll do our scale Y property. We'll do 0.9. And so this will make it look like we're trying to stretch our planet once it gets hit. Next, we need to provide duration for how long we want this animation to last. So we'll do 100 milliseconds. Let's add our ease property. For this, we'll do our phaser, we'll do our math, our easing, we'll do quadratic. Now we want to do in-out. So now for our tween, we're going to pass in our yo-yo property. We're going to pass this to be true. So what this will do is after our animation is finished and we've scaled our game object to these dimensions, our yo-yo property will allow us to play our animation in reverse and then set our properties back to their initial values of 1. So now if we save, let's come back to our game. Once one of our asteroids hits our planet, we should see our game object stretch a little bit. Finally, for our planet, once our health reaches 0, we want to disable and hide our game object. We'll also spawn in one of our destroyed enemies. That way it looks like our planet explodes after it takes enough damage. So let's remove our console log. After we lock our input, first we'll hide our player ship. So we'll do this .player, we'll do set visible, we'll do false. Now for our planet, we want to call disable body. And now we want to make our planet not active. So we'll do set active, we'll do false, and now we'll do set visible, and let's do false. So now to spawn one of our enemies, let's come up to our handle planet and enemy collision method, and we'll copy our line of code from there. We'll paste it, and now for our positioning, we want to reference our planet. So we'll do this, our planet.x, and now we'll do this and our planet.y. Now if we save and we come back to our game, once we take 3 points of damage, our Earth should disappear from our screen. Nice. So now that we have all of our logic in place for ending our game, we're going to create a new UI that will show to our players once our game is over. On this UI, we'll show our text game over, and we'll show our player the score that they earned. For this new UI, we're going to create a new phaser scene. So for our project, let's add a new file. We're going to call this game over scene. .js. So now if we come over to our game scene, I'm going to copy our top part of our code here. So we have our class. We'll paste that in our game over scene. We'll update our class name. We're going to call this game over scene. We'll get rid of our data keys. Next, let's copy our constructor from our game scene. We'll paste that in. And now for our key, we want to reference our game over scene. So now that we have our new phaser scene, we need to update our game configuration. So we'll come into our main.js file. First, we'll import our new scene. So we'll copy our import statement. We'll paste that in. We're going to do game over scene. We want to import that in from our game-over-scene.js file. Now, if we come down to the bottom of our code, let's copy one of our lines of code where we add our phaser scenes. we'll do our game over scene for our key, and now we want to do our game over scene class. So now to make it a little bit easier to test, let's open up our preload scene, and at the bottom of our file, instead of starting our game scene, let's start our game over scene. Now if we save and we come back to our game, now we should just see our black canvas element. Now in our game over scene class, let's add our create method. And first, we'll want to create our background game objects that we're using in our game scene. So if we go into our game scene, let's copy our block of code here where we create our background game objects. We'll paste that in. If we save and we come back to our game, we should now see our game background. So now in our scene, we're going to add some text game objects. Our first one will show the text game over, and our second one will tell our player to click to play our game again. To add our text game objects, we're going to do this.add.text. And now for our position, we want it to be in the center of our screen. So we'll do this.scale.width. We'll divide it by 2. And we'll do 100 for our Y. For our text, we're going to do game over. And now for our text styling, let's do our font size. And we want to do 32 pixels. Now if we save and come back to our game, we'll see our new text game object is visible. And now we just need to update our origin so our text will be centered. So on our game object, let's call set origin. And we'll do 0.5. Let's save. Much better. Let's copy that block of code. For our other text game object, for our text, let's do click to play again. Now for our font size, we'll do 22 pixels. Now for our position, let's do 350 for our Y. We save and come back to our game, we should see our new text. Now finally, we want to add a text game object that's going to show our player their score. So let's copy our block of code, we'll paste it one more time, and now for our text, we're going to do score, and now we're going to add a new property to our class. We're going to do this.score. Finally, for our font size, let's do 24 pixels, and now we need to add this property to our class. For this, let's add our init method. Now in our init method, we'll do this.score. We're going to set it equal to 0. Let's add that property to our class. So we'll do score. So now if we save and come back to our game, score is undefined. In our create method, we need to reference this, and then our private property. Much better. So now in our game over scene, we just need to add in our logic, so once our player clicks, they'll be able to start our game scene. At the bottom of our create method, we'll do this, our input to reference our input manager, and now we'll use our once method, and now we want to listen for our pointer down event. We're going to do phaser, let's do our input, our events, and now we want to do our pointer down event. For our second argument, we'll do our callback, and now in our callback, we want to start our game scene. So we'll do this, we'll do our scene to reference our scenes manager, now we'll do our start method, and let's do our scene keys, and we'll do our game scene. Now if we save and come back to our game, on our game over screen, if we click, we'll now transition to our game scene. So now that we have our new game over scene, we now need to connect it to our game scene. So if we come into our game scene, let's come down to our method where our planet takes damage. Once our health has reached 0, now we want to start our game over scene. So we'll do this, we'll do our scene, we'll do start, and now for our scene key, let's do our scene keys object, and let's do our game over scene. So let's go ahead and save. If we come back over to our preload scene, let's update our code to take us back to our game scene. Now if we come back to our game, now when our game starts, we're in our game scene. And now if we let our planet take some damage, we should transition to our game over scene. So now the last thing we need to do for our game over scene is once our game ends, when we call our game over scene, we need to pass our player's score value so we can display it in our scene. And so to do this, when we call this.scene.start, one of the things we can do is pass a secondary argument, which is an optional object. This object, for any data we pass, this will be provided to our scene when it started. So on this object, we can add a property called score, and now we can reference our score property on our class. So now when we pass this data object on our game over scene in our init method, Phaser is going to pass that as an argument to our method. So now instead of setting our score to 0, we can reference our data object and then our score property on that object. Now if we save and come back to our game, If we destroy a couple of our asteroids, and then let our asteroids collide with our planet, if we transition to our game over scene, we should see our new score value visible in our scene. At this point, our core loop of our game is complete. Our enemies are on a collision course with our planet, our player can defend our planet, and the Earth can now take damage. In our next video, we'll make the experience more engaging by adding in a score display, health indicators, and other UI polish.